My Hero Academia.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Starting off strong.
The randomizer was good to Brian today. This is My Hero Academia, chapter 317, Scars, Blood, Filth.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the title.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I honestly didn't notice it either because I thought this chapter cover was kind of cool, well drawn. You'll hear me say that a lot. I think the art is pretty spectacular for My Hero in general.
I think the art looks fine too.
Yeah.
For what it's showing.
Let's get into the chapter. Last we left off, All for One played Midoriya and the other heroes big time. He lured them to this mansion and then blown it up. So, we don't get to see how this happened, but we immediately cut to this warehouse and everybody's just like, whew, that was close, huh?
Yeah, that was a close one.
Sheesh. It is kind of funny. I would like to see this in the anime just be a smash cut. Like, the mansion just explodes and then they're just like, well, that didn't go so well, did it?
We gotta revise our strategy now.
Yeah.
You guys good?
Yeah, I mean, they made
nobody died?
Yeah, nobody got hurt by the explosion. Not a single soul. Everybody's fine. So, they're really just thinking like, well, what do we do now? Is there anything we could get from Nagant? And Hawk says, no, the hospital doesn't even know how she's alive right now. So, there's no way we're getting anything else out of her. And they start talking about I think Kamui Woods brings up is like, yo, maybe we should just get more heroes involved, every last remaining hero at this point, because if there's more people around, then it could be worse. And basically they don't really agree with that plan because apparently a ton of heroes, you never know, because apparently most heroes are just soft, as we learned from Death Arms, who actually retired. Which is sad because I didn't get to see his quirk. I thought he had a cool design, and I'm like, why is he dressed like that specifically? I wonder if that has to do with his quirk, really. But I guess we'll never know because, apparently Mount Lady remembers a conversation where he's literally just taking off his costume wherever they are, I guess outside, and he's like, yeah, well, I think this ain't for me, really, Yeah, he's just getting worn out, and he retires, essentially. So Death Arms is no more. They can't really have other heroes because they don't want any leaks regarding One for All. So, yeah, there's that. So no more heroes except for these small fringe group here, which I'm not mad at. It'll be cool to have a little hyper-focused group of adult heroes that we may get some cool moments out of. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the teachers from Naruto. Something I've always wanted to see is more of the Genin teachers do shit. We got Azuma and Kakashi, of course, but and Guy, but we could that female teacher. That would have been cool. I think she had ash powers or something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would have been dope.
So I think Endeavor notices that Todoroki has been trying to call him forever, and he's been dodging his calls because it's not time yet for Shoto to be out, but he will be soon, along with hopefully the rest of the supporting cast. Hawks gets word that Midoriya actually ran into the second hired gun from One for All, and he already defeated him very easily. It looks like we call
that easy money, GG.
And a really cool, I like the splash page. He's really just standing over him I defeated you, bitch. Midoriya has gotten really powerful, and as somebody who's kind of rereading the series from the beginning, it's kind of wild how you forget how long away he's come. Yeah, it is crazy. Now that now with that perspective in mind, but yeah, he seems to have won, and he just bounces out. All Might tries to chase him down. He's like, wait, you haven't been eating. And Midoriya just stops, and he, without even really looking at All Might, he says, you don't have to tag along anymore. I'm fine. So
Sheesh.
Yeah. And All Might's just kind of devastated by this, because he's like, damn, he's really running himself ragged, and, he doesn't even look at me anymore. I can't help him anymore. And I imagine that's got to be really hard for him, especially given the talk he had with his mom and all that stuff, always like promising to be by his side. It's sad. Midoriya even says that, like, I think I'm like capable, like what I'm capable of is on par with you at 100%, and I don't even have like the recoil, that I used to anymore. So I don't think he's being kind of blunt to just kind of like push All Might away, but he's basically like, I don't need you anymore, essentially. So Midoriya like runs away, flies away, leaving All Might behind, and the entire time who's been standing there is Stain. That was kind of cool. He's clean as shit though, and
He is actually.
even Stain managed to get a little bit.
He looks like he showered.
The first thing who knew?
Yeah.
It's cool. It makes me wonder what he's gonna do, because like, is he gonna talk to All Might? What would he have to say? He's got his tongue hanging out, which is annoying, like that bumpy ass gross. I just noticed that. I was like, you could put that away now. You're not trying to do your quirk right now. You're chilling. The chapter ends with what seems to be people talking about Midoriya, saying that like he appears without a sound. It's kind of like an urban legend feel to it, where he's got a whole mess of quirks with him. And apparently he goes around helping people. The rumors say he's caked with blood and filth, which cover up his many scars. And we get a full page splash of Midoriya just walking down the street, black whip just like oozing out of his body. And people are saying, looking at him, you'd never guess he was a hero. And that's where the chapter ends.
It's like Berserk.
Yeah. I don't want to open this can of worms because I think like this is a thing that's been.
Wait, before you say that, does it have anything to do with a certain confirmation by the author, essentially?
No. What?
Oh.
No, I'm saying that Midoriya's like design here, it hasn't done much for me. I've just been like kind of indifferent to it, but like it did a lot for me because it feels like this character design, like this, ragged suit is kind of like an indicate, it's an obvious like physical metaphor for his internal state. It's also something interesting to think about, like why Midoriya is kind of like running himself ragged. He always got this criticism that he idolizes All Might too much in the way he fought and all that stuff. Like he kept trying to mimic exactly what All Might used to do. And the only reason that he's beyond that now is because he's kind of like separated himself from it and made One for All his own. But there's still something in him that like really idolizes All for One, because All Might, because for a long time All Might held this shit down by himself, and that's why I think Midoriya is doing what he's doing. Is that like he's still holding on to that like ideal of All Might being the only person, that handles everything and takes care of everyone all at once. It's an interesting little like subtle bit of character development, and this is probably the final lap he needs to get over before he becomes his own man, essentially. Like the real coming of age story comes to a close in terms of Midoriya. But yeah, I thought this was a cool chapter all in all. I thought there was some really cool art in this. I don't have much else to say. Any thoughts, boys?
So, I actually have a couple of things to say about this chapter. I thought this was a really interesting chapter for me because, for some, like when it comes to these kind of, when it comes to manga and stuff like that, I like to look at the more subtle, like, hints of writing and stuff like that. And it's like, why did he choose to do this? Why did he choose to do this in this way? Right. So I feel like, when you look at how the series has kind of been written to an extent, there's always been a comparison. There's just been it's been a lot of comparison to, the grades, comparison to how heroes operate and stuff like that, So when you look at the comparison that they made, it was kind of a showing of like the difference between Deku, who's supposed to be the future symbol of peace, compared to regular heroes, right? Like Dead Arms, that's his name, right? Dead Arms?
Death Arms. It doesn't matter.
Death Arms.
He's not a thing anymore. He's a bitch.
The way I looked at that was that you kind of see like this chapter was all about showing how heroes act once pressure is around, like once real pressure is around, you know, like none of this like fucking All Might era heroism where everything's easy. It's just real shit that's like society defining stuff. So you see that Death Arms, he's like a hero that couldn't take it. But for Deku, he's a hero that's always looked to do it on his own in order to save people. You know, that's always been what Deku has done. And what they're showing here is that, you know, it's okay to give up if you're not willing to do things, but it's not okay to take on all the responsibility of this task without help at all. Like it shows that there's depths to it. Like being a hero that wants to save everybody to the point of self-harm is wrong. And Deku's losing himself because of that flawed mindset, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what he's trying to overcome.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. That was my final words anyway.
To piggyback off your point, which I feel like, makes a ton of sense, and I feel like it is worth pointing it out. We could say, not only that it's just wrong because it's objectively wrong or something like that. As someone that wants to be a protector and be a hero in this situation, you know what I'm saying? You have to also take care of yourself, right? And part of that is understanding that you have resources, and part of those resources are the support and the people around him. And, hopefully it doesn't seem like, and I forget what it seems like. He's not really working with those heroes. No. You know what I'm saying? He's not on his own, doing his own thing right now. So, yeah, they are cooperating, but he's still kind of going through that. And I guess it's going to be kind of interesting to see how he relearns and understands these things, because he's always a smart kid. And he would have been the first person to say, let's wait for backup, or let's try to all work together to figure something out.
Yeah.
That's who Midoriya is. So this is, I guess I don't know, when I think about it like that, it's oddly refreshing now. To see Midoriya like this, looking all dirty and raggedy, which, by the way, was the confirmation I was talking about by the author this past week. He literally said that he's dirty. Right.
I mean, nobody denied he's dirty, but
I never said that he wasn't dirty. I just said that it makes sense. Like, it's a cool design.
I listen to every one of these podcasts.
Yeah.
And I can remember you just like,
hey,
he's not, I don't think it's like that. I think it's awesome. And you just thought the filth was awesome.
I thought it was a cool design.
Yeah, nobody was denying
cool design.
Nobody was denying
it made
he was dirty.
Sense, like considering the situation that he's in,
Yeah, but all right, but I think we all can agree that like the author is definitely making him look raggedy for a purpose.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the point.
This is a lit design. It's like, it kind of. I'm gonna tell you this. In this last page, the more I looked at it, and I just stopped trying to be a dickhead, and I was like, all right, let me just look at this picture. And I was like, it looks lit. Like he looks like. And then they were showing the images of Midoriya when he was really young, like literally a few pages before. When he's like, I am here. Mm-hmm. And then to see it now, and it's like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. Boy.
Yeah.
It's been rough, huh?
It's funny, I will commend Horikoshi, because like when you it's things you don't notice, but he makes really subtle artistic changes to Midoriya in his look. Like way back, if you look at the first like couple volumes, he's skinny as shit. like he's he gets a little muscular where he's still like he's not bulky, or he doesn't have like any like meat on his bones essentially. But now he's got some mass to him. But I guess aside from the art thing, I did want to piggyback off what you guys said, off the pressure of like, you know, relying on others. I think it's funny because like the adults are kind of like perpetuating it to a degree. You know, like they also have that mindset where like, oh, it's Midoriya's destiny to fight all for one. It's like his battle. It's his thing. And I think like that's the real, you know, everything that's happening right now is supposed to be a direct contrast to the end of this arc where everything's going to be a little brighter. Midoriya like learns that lesson. You know, I would like to think that, like, my theory is that at the end of it all, they're going to tell everyone about One for All and All for One. I think that'd be super interesting just to see how the world reacts to that. But yeah, I think it's getting a little more granular, more interesting, and all that stuff as the chapters go. One thing I will say though is I hope something happens soon. You know, like I feel like we're treading a little too slow now, and I'm hoping next week will kind of be a little bit of a turning point. So because it's been ostensibly the same thing for the last few chapters. And I'm hoping that like we get a little beat change next chapter. But that's all I gotta say. It's more of a minor like, all right, I hope we get to see a little bit more bright next week or like a hint of it.
They're setting up I think what like you said, they're setting up Deku to learn and then to become, you know? Like right now he's trying really, really fucking hard to fit the shoes of All Might, you know? And the way that he's going about it is unhealthy. He's trying to force himself to be All Might, but he really should be trying to become Deku, you know?
Yeah.
Because right now he's tirelessly on the streets. He's not even taking time to take care of himself. He's just not what the symbol piece looks like right now.
Yeah.
And it's because of all the pressure and weight that he has right now. Because think about it. He's literally a teenager with the responsibility to literally save Japan right now. Like this isn't like a normal situation under any circumstance.
Yeah.
So obviously he's not going to be like correct on everything that he does because he's still just a kid, but he's learning, and we're going to see him grow, and the light will come back once he's the symbol of peace. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I'm thinking on a pacing level, but I'm not mad at it at all. That's like a minor thing. Hopefully, you know, the inevitable thing will happen, and Ojiro the Tailman comes in and saves his life, like he was, like he's always meant to be.
I would love it if he's the one who comes in and convinces Deku to as the normal hero.
He pushes Uraraka and Deku and Bakugo aside. He's like, move, Deku, are you okay? I got you.
Let me help you with my
He's the Neji of the series.
Did you say he's the Neji of the series?
Yeah, he jumps in and takes the log for the team.
He is not the. He's. Imagine that. Imagine he becomes the Kiba, where out of nowhere he's like, "I'm gonna be the greatest hero," and everybody's like, "Shut up, Ojiro."
Yeah, like.
God, remember how they really violated Kiba at the very end, where he became the Yamcha of the series, essentially. Where, like, when Naruto and Sasuke was like, "We're gonna be the Hokage," and then Kiba's like, "No, it's gonna be me," and everyone's like, "Shut up, Kiba." It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite parts of the series. It happens in like 2 panels.
Oh yeah, it's
they
like
violate Kiba
when they're all arguing about, like during the war, right?
Yeah, where both Naruto and Sasuke are like, "I'm gonna be Hokage." Kiba's like, "No, it's gonna be me," and everyone's like, "Shut up, Kiba." All right, but in any case, I think that's all I got to say about My Hero Academia.